The little firefly that carried a wish. Beneath the evening's violet sky, where sleepy clouds went drifting by, a little firefly woke to see the moon above the willow tree. It blinked a tiny golden light, a gentle spark within the night. Around it, hundreds softly glowed like little stars along the road. The firefly looked up with wonder, listening to the distant thunder. I wonder where my light can go and who might need its gentle glow. It flew above the meadow grass, watching quiet shadows pass. The daisies closed their petals tight, preparing for the coming night. A cricket sang beside a stone, a peaceful song for those alone. The firefly landed on a leaf, thinking of a quiet belief. Perhaps my light is far too small to make a difference here at all. An old firefly passing near heard the little one's doubt and fear. Never measure light by size, the elder said beneath its skies. A tiny flame can guide a way and brighten someone's darkest day. You do not need to light the earth, just shine wherever you are worth. The little firefly smiled softly, then flew into the evening gently. Beyond the meadow, through the trees, it followed whispers in the breeze. Soon it found a cottage small, with ivy climbing on the wall. A little child sat by the door, watching raindrops across the floor. The child looked tired, the child looked sad. Tonight had not been very glad. The favorite toy had gone away, and nothing seemed to make things stay. The firefly hovered near the glass, and its golden light beginning to pass through the window, soft and small, like a star upon the wall. The child looked up and smiled. What a beautiful little light. For a moment, sadness disappeared and peaceful wonder replaced the fear. The firefly stayed a little while watching the child slowly smile. Then it flew back toward the trees carried gently by the breeze. It wondered if that tiny glow had truly helped the child below. The moon replied from high above, sometimes hope is very small, sometimes it is only a light that reminds a heart it isn't alone. The firefly listened quietly, feeling warmth inside its wings. It continued through the forest deep where woodland creatures had gone to sleep. A rabbit rested underneath a blanket made of fallen leaves. Fox curled near an ancient tree, dreaming peacefully. The firefly flew along the stream where silver water shone and gleamed. It saw the reflection of the moon dancing softly to a woodland tune. Then suddenly it heard a sound, a tiny cry from underground. It flew toward the trembling voice and found a little mouse without choice. Cannot find my way back home. The forest feels so dark and wide. I walked too far while chasing berries, and now I don't know where to go. The firefly hovered close. Follow my light, I'll stay beside you. Together they traveled through the grass, past every stone and tree, and they passed the firefly's tiny golden glow made just enough light for them to know where the winding pathway lay. Slowly they found their way. At last, beneath an old oak tree, the mouse saw some home and family. Its mother hugged it close and tight, thanking the firefly for its light. The little firefly flew away, smiling beneath the moonlit gray. It finally understood that night a tiny light can still be right. It doesn't have to shine like day, it only needs to show the way. The hours passed, the stars grew bright, the forest rested in the night, but somewhere beyond the hill a lonely traveler walked still. He carried no lamp in his hand and could not see the winding land. The firefly saw him from above and felt a quiet pull of love. It flew toward the traveler slowly, its golden light glowing warmly. The traveler looked up with surprise, seeing a spark beneath the skies. Is someone guiding me tonight? The firefly continued on ahead, showing the path beneath his feet. Step by step, the traveler followed until the village lights appeared. He turned around toward the sky, but the tiny firefly had already flown high. He whispered softly, "Thank you, little star." The firefly returned to the meadow carrying a new thought within its heart. Perhaps a wish was not something you waited to receive. Perhaps a wish was something you carried for someone else. That night, beneath the quiet moon, the little firefly made a wish. May my small light always find someone who needs a little hope. And as it closed its tiny wings, the moonlight covered everything. Yet the night was not finished because somewhere beyond the sleeping meadow another heart was quietly waiting for a little light. The little firefly opened its eyes beneath the quiet midnight skies. Its tiny wings began to glow as silver moonbeams drifted low. It remembered the wish it made and wondered where its light was needed. Across the meadow, through the trees, it followed whispers in the breeze. Then beyond a winding stream, it saw a house that seemed to dream. Inside the window, soft and bright, a little girl sat alone that night. She held a paper in her hand, a drawing made with colors grand, but tears had gathered in her eyes as quietly she watched the skies. My picture isn't good, she said. I wish I could draw like everyone else. The firefly hovered by the glass, its golden globe began to pass. The girl looked up and saw the light, a tiny star within the night. She watched it dance, she watched it glow, and slowly felt her sadness go. The firefly circled once around and then landed softly on the ground. The girl smiled gently through her tears. Maybe I should try again. She picked her colors up once more and painted flowers by the door. She painted moonlight, trees, and streams, and tiny stars inside her dreams. Firefly watched with quiet pride, then flew into the night outside. It did not need to tell her why, it simply helped her try. The firefly flew farther on until the darkest hour was gone. It passed a garden filled with roses where every sleepy blossom closed. It passed a bridge above the creek where silverfish were fast asleep. It passed the hill where children played now quiet beneath the moonlight shade. At last it reached a lonely road where an old traveler carried a heavy load. His shoulders tired, his footsteps slow. He had walked far and had nowhere to go. The firefly flew beside his feet, giving him a gentle light to meet. The traveler smiled. I have been walking for hours, he said. Your little light makes this road feel less lonely. The firefly continued beside him until the road reached a small village. There a warm cottage door stood open. The traveler stopped. A woman stepped outside. You came back, she whispered. The traveler smiled. I found the way. He looked toward the sky, but the firefly was already gone. It had another place to be. Far away beneath a willow tree, a young rabbit trembled quietly. It had heard the storm approaching and could not find its family. The firefly flew close, its tiny light shimmered, the rabbit followed. Together they crossed the meadow, past the sleeping flowers, past the little stream, and beneath the old oak. There the rabbit's family waited. The little rabbit ran into their arms. The firefly watched for a moment, then it flew higher, higher than the trees, higher than the hill, until the whole meadow looked like a quiet dream below. The moon was waiting. You carried your wish well, she whispered. The firefly smiled. I thought a wish was something I should keep inside my heart. Now I understand a wish becomes brighter when we carry it for someone else. The moon's silver light surrounded the little firefly. Then your wish has already come true. The firefly looked down. Across the meadow, tiny lights began appearing one by one, two by two. Hundreds of little fireflies rose into night. Their golden lights shimmered the skies, shimmered like stars. The little firefly realized something wonderful. Its light had inspired others. The child by the cottage window had learned to smile again. The little mouse had found its family. The traveler had found his way. The girl had found courage to try again. The rabbit had found its family. And now the whole meadow was glowing. Not because one firefly was bright, but because many small lights had chosen to shine together. The little firefly looked around in wonder. It whispered, I am not the brightest, I never was, but I can still help. The moon smiled, that is enough. The night became peaceful once more. The wind whispered through the trees. The river sang softly below. Flowers rested beneath the stars. And the fireflies danced above the meadow. Their golden lights rose and fell like tiny wishes floating through the darkness. The little firefly remembered its first thought. My light is too small. Now it knew the truth. Small doesn't mean useless. White does not mean forgotten. Gentle doesn't mean weak. And a tiny light can carry a very big wish. As morning slowly approached, the fireflies began to disappear. One by one, they returned to their resting places. The little firefly settled beneath a green leaf. Before closing its eyes, it looked toward the fading stars. Tonight, it whispered, I will rest, and tomorrow I will shine again. The first golden ray of sunrise touched the meadow. Birds began to sing. Flowers opened their sleepy petals. The stream sparkled in the morning light. Everything was beginning again, and beneath one quiet leaf, the little firefly slept peacefully, dreaming of all the hearts its tiny light might find tomorrow. To the poem. Now, the message of the poem. Never underestimate the power of your small acts of kindness. You may feel that your words, your help, your smile, or your presence are too small to matter, but like the little firefly, you may never know how much comfort your light brings to someone who is walking through a difficult moment. You do not need to solve every problem. You don't need to be the brightest. You don't need to change the entire world. Sometimes all you need to do is shine where you are needed. A tiny light can guide someone home. A gentle word can give someone courage. A simple act of kindness can inspire another person to shine. And when many small lights come together, even the darkest night can become beautiful. So carry your light, carry your kindness, carry your hope, And whenever someone needs a little brightness, let your heart be willing to shine. Hope you like the poem. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more soft spoken videos. Thank you.